Welcome to Infidelity Truths. Before we dive into today's gripping story, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us create more thrilling stories just for you. Let's begin. I thought it was just a simple mistake, that it would stop there. But I was wrong. That day was the beginning of what would become the most complicated, most forbidden moments of my life. Even now, as I tell you this story, I can feel my hands trembling because this isn't just a confession. It's a confrontation with my own inner conflict, shame, and desire. Daniel, my mother's husband, mature, charismatic, and always exuding confidence. He was the kind of man who didn't need to speak loudly to command attention. Most of the time, he was quiet around the house, yet his presence was enough to fill any room. He was my mom's second husband, and we had never had a close relationship. He was polite but distant, until that day when everything changed. My mom, Victoria, was out with her friends as usual. The house was left to Daniel and me. It was a quiet evening, or at least I thought it would be. I'd retreated to my room to change clothes. Standing in front of my mirror, dressed only in my underwear, I was about to slip into a dress when I heard the faint sound of the door creaking open. "Lena, your door's open," Daniel said softly from the doorway. His voice was calm, yet strong enough to jolt me. I turned my head and saw his eyes on me. Time seemed to freeze. I didn't know what to do. I didn't cover myself, but I didn't move either. He hesitated at the door, his hand resting on it as if debating whether to come in or step back. His gaze lingered just long enough for me to feel a wave of confusion and something else. Something unexplainable. My heart pounded in my chest. It was just a few seconds, but in those seconds, everything seemed to shift. "I'm sorry," he said finally, averting his eyes. But his voice didn't sound entirely apologetic. It carried a hint of hesitation, as though he wasn't sure whether he truly regretted it. He stepped back, but his presence still filled the room, even after he closed the door. "It's fine," I murmured, my voice shaking slightly. But inside, I knew it wasn't fine. Something had shifted in me, and I couldn't ignore it. He left, and I was left alone with my thoughts. Yet his lingering gaze and the subtle tension in the air stayed with me. That moment was etched into my mind, and I couldn't shake it. I thought it was just a mistake, something awkward, something that would fade. But I was wrong. Just a few days later, it happened again, and this time it went even further. Up until that point, everything could have been chalked up to an awkward mistake, a poorly timed interaction. I thought the same. But it didn't take long for me to realize that it wasn't going to stop there. That day was just the beginning. And now, I'll tell you everything that happened from that moment onward. The morning after was a blur of emotions. I woke up tangled in the sheets, my heart still racing from the night before. The weight of what had happened with Alfred pressed heavily on my chest. I turned to look at him, his broad shoulders rising and falling with each slow breath. He looked peaceful, yet I knew the turmoil brewing beneath his calm facade mirrored mine. I carefully slipped out of bed, my feet touching the cool floor as I gathered my clothes. I needed to clear my head, to make sense of the choices I'd made. But just as I reached for my dress, a firm hand wrapped around my wrist. "Where are you going?" Alfred's voice was deep, still laced with sleep. I hesitated, biting my lip before responding. "I just need to think." His fingers gently tightened around my wrist. "Emily, don't shut me out." I turned to face him, his dark eyes searching mine. "Alfred, we crossed a line last night." He sighed and ran a hand through his tousled hair. "I know, but I can't bring myself to regret it." I swallowed hard, my thoughts racing. "What about my mom?" His expression darkened slightly, and he leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees. "Jennifer and we've been distant for a long time. I don't even know if she notices anymore." That was the painful truth, wasn't it? Jennifer had been so wrapped up in her own world, in her parties and her social circles, that she barely acknowledged the man she married. I had seen it, and now I had felt it too. But that didn't make what we did right. I slipped into my dress, my back turned to him. We have to be careful, I whispered. We can't let this, whatever this is, ruin everything. Alfred stood up, his presence overwhelming as he stepped behind me. His fingers ghosted over my shoulders before he rested his hands gently on my arms. I don't want to hurt you, Emily. I turned to face him, emotions swirling in my chest. Then we need to be strong. He exhaled deeply, nodding. I understand. Just as I was about to say more, we heard the front door open. My heart nearly stopped. Jennifer was home. I quickly smoothed down my dress and Alfred stepped back, tension thick in the air. We couldn't let her see any sign of what had happened between us. My mother's voice echoed through the house as she called my name. I forced a smile and walked out of the bedroom, leaving Alfred behind. My heart pounded in my chest as I greeted her, hoping she wouldn't notice the guilt weighing down on me. But as I met Alfred's gaze from across the room, I knew this wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. The days that followed were a whirlwind of emotions, stolen glances, and quiet moments filled with tension. Every time I was alone with Alfred, the air between us was thick with unspoken words and the weight of what we had done. Jennifer, oblivious to the storm brewing beneath her own roof, continued with her carefree lifestyle. She was always out with her friends, attending parties, and planning social events. Her absence only made it easier for Alfred and me to fall deeper into our forbidden world. One evening, while Jennifer was out late yet again, Alfred and I found ourselves in the living room. He sat on the couch, flipping through channels, while I pretended to be focused on my book. But I wasn't reading. My mind was a whirlwind of thoughts about him, about us. You're quiet tonight, Alfred finally said, his voice cutting through the silence. I hesitated before answering. Just thinking, I admitted. He turned to look at me, his dark eyes locking onto mine. About what? I swallowed hard. About us. About everything. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. Emily, we can't keep doing this. The words sent a sharp pang through my chest. I know, I whispered, but knowing didn't make it any easier. Alfred reached for my hand, his fingers grazing mine. You deserve better than this. Better than sneaking around and living in shadows. And what about you? I asked. Don't you deserve to be with someone who sees you, who truly cares about you? He smiled, but it was laced with sadness. It's not that simple, Emily. Jennifer may not be the perfect wife, but she's still my wife. I pulled my hand away, wrapping my arms around myself as a way to hold in the storm raging inside me. So what now? We just pretend nothing ever happened? Alfred leaned back, exhaling deeply. I don't know, but I do know that I can't lose you, Emily. Not like this. My heart clenched at his words. Then don't, I whispered. The silence stretched between us, neither of us willing to take the next step, yet neither of us willing to walk away. Just then, the sound of Jennifer's laughter echoed through the hallway as she returned home. Alfred and I snapped apart, shifting back into the roles we were supposed to play. But the truth was, the line had already been crossed, and there was no turning back now. As the days passed, the tension between Olivia and Patrick only grew stronger. Each stolen glance, each unspoken word weighed heavily on them. They knew they had crossed a line that could never be undone, and yet neither of them could bring themselves to regret it. One evening, as Olivia sat alone in her room, the reality of what had happened settled in. She had betrayed her mother, and no matter how much she tried to justify it, the guilt gnawed at her. Patrick had been avoiding her, keeping his distance, and she knew it was for the best. Jennifer, unaware of the storm brewing beneath her own roof, continued with her carefree life, oblivious to the secret her husband and daughter now shared. But secrets have a way of unraveling, and Olivia lived in fear of the day when the truth would come to light. One night, Patrick finally broke the silence. He found Olivia in the kitchen, staring blankly at her cup of tea. We need to talk, he said, his voice filled with an unusual softness. Olivia nodded, already knowing what he was going to say. This has to stop, she whispered. It was a mistake. We both know that. Patrick sighed, running a hand through his hair. I know, Olivia, but it doesn't change the way I feel. It doesn't change the fact that for a moment it felt right. Tears welled in Olivia's eyes and she shook her head. It doesn't matter. What we did, it can never happen again. My mom, she deserves better. Patrick looked at her for a long moment before finally nodding. You're right. We have to move on. And just like that, the chapter closed. Patrick and Olivia drifted apart, carrying the weight of their forbidden desire in silence. Olivia forced herself to focus on her own life, and Patrick did the same. Though the memory of what they shared never faded, they both knew it was a past best left untouched. Months later, Olivia left for college, eager for a fresh start. Patrick remained in the house, a devoted husband once more. Jennifer never suspected a thing, and life moved forward as if nothing had ever happened. But in the quiet moments, when Olivia was alone with her thoughts, she would remember, and she would wonder what might have been if things had been different. Some stories don't have happy endings. Some desires are meant to remain forbidden, and some mistakes, no matter how much we wish otherwise, can never truly be undone. Moral lessons from this story: 1. Actions have consequences. Forbidden desires may feel exhilarating in the moment, but they often lead to guilt, pain, and lasting repercussions. 2. Self-control and integrity. Giving into temptation can harm not only oneself, but also innocent people. Self-restraint and respect for boundaries are crucial. 3. Honesty and loyalty. Betrayal, especially within a family, can break trust in ways that may never fully heal. True love and respect require honesty and faithfulness. 4. Secrets have a way of unraveling. No matter how well hidden, secrets create emotional burdens and can eventually come to light, leading to devastating consequences. 5. Moving on and growth. Learning from mistakes and choosing to move forward with integrity is the best way to heal and find peace. Thank you, my amazing subscribers. Wow, what a journey. If you've made it to the end of this story, I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Your support means everything to me. Every time you watch, like, and comment, you're helping keep this channel alive and growing. And trust me, the best is yet to come. I see all your comments. I feel your love, and I truly appreciate each and every one of you. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. Your thoughts and feedback inspire me to create even more powerful stories. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a new upload. More shocking twists, emotional journeys, and real-life lessons are on the way, and I don't want you to miss a single one. Together, we're building an incredible community, and I'm so grateful to have you on this journey with me. Stay strong, stay inspired, and remember, sometimes life's greatest lessons come from the most unexpected moments. See you in the next story.